Hi. Welcome to Luna Listens to Books channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. Now the story begins. I suspected that my husband was having an affair, was always sneaking around, making calls, and finding all kinds of excuses for not coming home at night. I didn't want to doubt him, but it was only after I did some investigating that I found out, not only was he cheating, but he had also arranged for his mistress to live right next door to us. After my husband left on a business trip, I made a series of video calls to him, all of which he rejected. This sharp observation made me realize he was having an affair. Before this event happened today, our relationship had always been good. After graduating, I stayed in this city for my husband, only seeing my parents in our hometown once or twice a year. This month, my mother suddenly wanted to visit US. My husband readily agreed and even offered to pick her up. Knowing that my mother was coming made me very happy. Unexpectedly, on the day of her arrival, my husband abruptly announced that he couldn't get time off work. He had a high position in the company, so I understood the situation. Comforted him that work was important, and took leave myself. In the afternoon, I drove to the high-speed rail station to pick up my mother. Mom, I'm going to ask my husband what he would like for dinner, so I can prepare it in advance. After picking up my mother, I made a video call to my husband. It was strange that he didn't answer several calls, nor did he respond to my voice messages or texts. It was almost time to get off work, and he shouldn't have been this busy. Without giving it too much thought, I took my mother to the supermarket to buy groceries, planning to call him again once dinner was ready. As I started making soup, my husband returned a video call. My dear, I was just called into a meeting by the boss and didn't see your video message. How is it? Did you pick up Mom? I wiped my hands and started talking to him. Yes, I did. Mom is here at home. I bought a lot of your favorite dishes. It will be ready soon. When are you coming back? In the video, I saw a flicker in my husband's eyes. I still have a lot of work here. I don't know when I'll be able to get home tonight. You and Mom eat first. By the way, take good care of Mom, don't let her get upset. Coincidentally, my mom came into the kitchen at that moment. Is that Jake? It's been a long time since I've seen him, let me talk to him. My mother has always been satisfied with this son-in-law. I gave my phone to my mother, let them talk, and continued cooking. After a while, my mother came into the kitchen and put the phone aside. Jake is really busy, he's not even coming back for dinner, you should treat him better. Hearing her nagging, I knew that my husband had successfully appeased her, so I didn't say anything. The phone was left aside. After dinner, I cleaned up the kitchen and watched TV with my mother. Only then did I remember that I had left my phone in the kitchen the whole time. I took my phone and went back to my room, took a shower, and started drying my hair while watching a drama. The new Korean drama's lead actor was incredibly handsome, couldn't help but screenshot a few high-resolution scenes and flip through them in the gallery. Didn't expect to flip to a photo taken in my husband's office. Just as I was about to swipe past it, I remembered the video call from my husband before dinner, glanced at the background behind him. The light was soft, and there were elegant double-layer white gauze curtains. Suddenly remembered seeing a slender figure in a robe fleeting past in the background. How could someone be wearing a robe in the office? The photo of the office was taken when my husband was standing by the floor-to-ceiling window, and there were no curtains. Why, memory has always been good. I've only been to his office twice, but I remember the layout clearly. Could it be that my husband wasn't in the office at that time? Then why did he lie to me about working overtime and not coming home for dinner? A woman's sixth sense is always accurate, and I couldn't help but make a video call to my husband. The ringing tone lasted for 2 full minutes, but there was no response from my husband. This was not normal at all. It's not regular office hours, so what could possibly prevent him from answering? Holding my phone, I waited quietly, my mind filled with various thoughts. After waiting for more than half an hour, my husband sent back a voice message. Dear, I'm still working. The executives were here just now, it wasn't convenient. It was late, unless there was a woman lying next to him, why else would he not answer my video call? But without seeing it with my own eyes, I couldn't be sure, so I made another video call. As soon as the call connected, I hurriedly said, Honey, I took the day off today and didn't go to the office, also forgot to bring back the work report assigned to me. which needs to be summarized for our manager tomorrow. Could you please find it for me in our office? I'll wait for you to finish your work and bring it back. What's the matter with you? Didn't I say the executives are here? Why are you still making video calls? Before I could finish, my husband interrupted me harshly. His camera was blocked by a finger, half black and half red. I already had a bad feeling, and his tone made me lose my composure. I retorted, "It's almost 11 o'clock, I am your wife, can't I make a phone call even if your executives are around?" My voice was agitated, perhaps making him feel guilty. His tone was no longer as impatient as before. All right, I got it. Can I go downstairs and check later?" I stared at the screen, which was still blocked. I softened my tone and became more gentle. "Honey, I haven't seen you all day, why are you still covering the camera? Can I see you?" Afraid he might think I was suspicious, I cooed, "If I can't see you before I go to sleep, I won't be able to sleep. We've been married for 2 years, how can you still be so clingy?" But Jake Poosemaid could never resist my coquettish behavior. His attitude softened, and I heard footsteps on his end. Then the finger blocking the camera moved away. However, besides my husband's face, which had grown chubbier after marriage, I couldn't see anything else. He had blurred out the background. "Where are you? Why can't I see the background?" I couldn't help but ask. "Are you done yet? You've seen me. I won't talk to you for now. After the executives leave, I'll go to your office to check and bring the report for you." My husband's tone began to show impatience. "Okay." I was even more convinced that he was guilty, but I didn't say anything and ended the video call. If my husband was indeed at the office, why would he hide and not let me see, even blurring the background when he turned on the video? He must have been afraid that I would notice something, that's why he did this. But from the time Jake Poosemaid and I were dating till now, besides occasionally getting together to play games with his buddies, I've attended all their gatherings. I'm very familiar with all of them, so he couldn't be with them tonight. I am certain that my husband had another woman with him tonight, just can't be sure how long he's been with this woman. Lying in bed, my mind was filled with the changes my husband had undergone after marriage. I quickly recalled that 7 months ago, Jake Poosemaid, who never went on business trips, suddenly went out of town for 2 days. After that, he started coming home later and later. Several times when I called him, he said that the executives valued him, so he had to work hard. Occasionally, when I was not busy at work, I would go find him after work and even help him organize some data, so I always believed that he was very ambitious and never thought about it in any other way. When I was with Jake Poosemaid, I had just broken up with my previous boyfriend, attended the same university and even ended up working in the same building after graduation. It was during our occasional elevator encounters that we became familiar with each other. Jake Poosemaid was full of energy right after graduation, and I was always encouraging him when we were together. Fair to say that I've put in a lot of effort behind the scenes to help him reach his current position, even took care of all the wedding arrangements so he could focus on his work. Thought that, after our marriage, he would love and cherish me, and we would grow old together, but just a few years into our marriage, he had another woman at his side. I didn't want to cry, but my eyes still welled up with tears. It wasn't until 1 a.m. that Jake Poosemaid finally returned home. "When I got to your company, everyone had left. I couldn't get in, so you'll have to deal with the report tomorrow at the office." Jake Poosemaid brushed me off with this one sentence. "That can't be right. It was just after 10 when I called you." I couldn't help but respond. "I had a late meeting. Look, I even called your company's security department to get the documents for you." As he spoke, Jake Poosemaid showed me the call log on his phone. He indeed had made a call to our company's security department near midnight, but I knew he kept this call record just to reassure me. Our companies are just a floor apart. How could their company leaders possibly have meetings till midnight? It was clear that he was out fooling around until he had enough. Made a token visit to the office and then returned home. Who did he meet? Who made him so happy that he didn't think of coming home until the early hours of the morning? I needed to find out. Before going to bed, my husband, who hadn't touched me in days, approached me. I went along with him, while my mind was filled with all sorts of thoughts. The thought of him being with someone else, and the possibility of something happening between them before he came home, made me feel sick. It was already 2 a.m. when we finished. Jake Poosemaid fell asleep, but I lay awake, unable to sleep. I'm a neat freak when it comes to relationships. Once I discover something fishy, I won't be able to go on living this life. But I won't initiate a divorce either. I've put in so much effort into this house over the years. Why should I step aside and let the other woman benefit? While my husband was asleep, I checked his phone. WhatsApp, calls, messages, even transfer records, all were squeaky clean. How could that be possible? He's a finance director, and he gets countless calls for work every day. There's only one possibility. Jake Pussmaid deleted all the records before he came home. How naive was I not to notice such an obvious clue? Thinking about this, I installed a location tracking system in a hidden application on my husband's phone. Then I found a WhatsApp number I had registered years ago but never used, and a few suggestive photos of a young girl. Made the Instagram profile look especially attractive, and added my husband's WhatsApp as a friend. After doing all this, of course, I couldn't leave any traces. After deleting the records, I lay down next to my husband. Looking at his greasy face, my mind was filled with all sorts of thoughts, and I stayed awake the whole night. In the morning, at breakfast, seeing my pale face, Jake Pussmaid asked, "Honey, are you sick? Why is your face so pale?" I might have caught a cold because I didn't sleep well. I even pretended to cough a couple of times. "You can't be like this. I'll take you to the hospital." As soon as he finished his sentence, he was ready to grab the car keys without even finishing his food. How am I supposed to believe that such a caring husband is fooling around with other women? The thought of him being caring to another woman made me sick to my stomach. "It's just a minor cold, it's all right, no need to go to the hospital." After breakfast, I went to my room to change out of my pajamas and get ready for work. As usual, Jake Pussmaid drove me. When we arrived at the office building, he reached out and touched my forehead. "If you really feel unwell, let me know. I'll take you to the hospital." "Never mind, the company is arranging for a medical checkup for employees in a few days. I'll just get checked then." Our companies are on different floors of the same building. Got off the elevator first and started my day at the office. My workplace, compared to Jake Pussmaid's company, is hardly comparable. However, my capabilities are not inferior to his. After a few calm days, Jake Pussmaid surprisingly started coming home regularly. Why doubts about him were wavering. As the weekend approached, I received a message on WhatsApp just before the end of the workday. "Honey, you go home by yourself after work. I suddenly have to entertain the leaders." The seed of suspicion instantly sprouted, but I pretended to know nothing. After work, I called out a distant cousin with whom I was very close. "Why did you call me out for a drink today?" My cousin had been married for only a short while, and didn't have children yet. Her husband was quite jealous, so it was always hard for me to ask her out. Today, I had told her that I had important matters to discuss, and her husband finally let her come. We found a private room in the restaurant, ordered some drinks, and I told her the ins and outs of the situation. My cousin immediately slammed the table. "I didn't like that husband of yours from the start. You kept saying it was true love. That's true love. Why didn't he hand over the financial power to you? He holds on to all the money, even your salary and dowry." I didn't think much about it at the time. Jake Pussmaid loves face saving, so I let him manage all the money in the house. By now, I realize how stupid I was. My cousin also studied finance, and after graduation she successfully interviewed for a job at a Fortune 500 company. On the other hand, chose to work for a mediocre foreign company to be further away from my husband. When it comes to capabilities, I am not inferior to my cousin, but now, I feel inferior to her in every way. Her husband is certainly much better trained than Jake Pussmaid. Men always talk about face saving. That's all tricks to fool women. From the time you two were together, which expense didn't involve your contribution. Don't blame me for not warning you. Don't end up losing both person and wealth in the end. I understand now, right? I don't want to continue this life with him. My cousin's expression became difficult to describe. "Mary Landon, are you out of your mind? Jake Pussmaid controls the finances. If you don't continue with him, which car or house belongs to you? The money you've earned over the years might have been spent on his mistress. I know I can't just divorce him. I wouldn't possibly use my money to support his mistress, plan to catch him cheating and then divorce." I told my cousin my plan. If my husband likes the wildflowers outside, then I'll use a small account to hook him, confirm his infidelity. The location system in his phone is connected to mine. If he goes to a hotel with some woman, I'll know immediately." My cousin laughed. "That sounds good. I thought you were so naive to be fooled by that scoundrel for a lifetime. Didn't he leave today? Why don't you check where he went using the location tracker?" I found the tracking system and my heart skipped a beat when I saw Jake Poosmade's location. "Isn't this the neighborhood next to yours? This asshole Jake Poosmade has arranged his mistress near your home. Very convenient indeed." My heart sank at my cousin's words. How stupid does Jake Poosmade think I am, for such a long time, and at such a close distance? I was completely unaware. The anger in my heart surged and my resolve to take revenge on my husband was strengthened, but I couldn't let my mom know about this. When I returned home that night, I made up an excuse and bought a high-speed rail ticket for my mom to return to her hometown the next day. She knew that I was busy with work during the spring and summer and couldn't take care of her, so she agreed quickly. The next day, when Jake Poosmade learned that my mom was returning to her hometown, he feigned sadness. "Mom, you've only been here for a few days. Why are you leaving so soon? How about I take a day off today? We can go out and have fun, and you can leave in a couple of days." My mom said, "I have a pile of things to take care of at home, and your dad can't do without me. I have to leave today." Hearing this, Jake Poosmade didn't say anything else, sent me some money on WhatsApp and boasted about it in front of my mom. "Mom, I gave Mary a few $1,000s, asked her to buy some food for you to take back home. Consider it as my way of showing my filial piety to you and Dad." Upon seeing the transfer on WhatsApp, I couldn't help but sneer inside. Isn't this money I earned? How did it become his act of filial piety? Just like that, he played the good guy in front of my parents. Such a schemer he is. "Don't worry, honey. This time when I send Mom back, I'll go on a business trip with a colleague to a city near my hometown. I'll be back the day after tomorrow." After I sent my mom to the high-speed rail station, I didn't go back to my hometown with her, but went straight to my cousin's house, logged into the secondary account I had previously added my husband on and posted a few sexy pictures of young girls on Instagram. My cousin gave me advice. "This seems a bit too faked. I will help you contact that young girl, give her some money and she can pretend that this is her account. Your husband wants to meet offline, hire her to play along." I thought this plan was feasible, but if I was going to do it, I wouldn't leave any room for mercy. There's no one I know better than Jake Poosmade. He's vain and selfish, and will lose himself the moment he gets praised. After I bought the young girl's photos and information, I started chatting with him on WhatsApp, saying that I wanted to work at Jake Poosmade's company. After seeing the Instagram of my secondary account, he responded almost instantly, even giving lots of advice on what to pay attention to during the interview at his company. So, from time to time on WhatsApp, I behaved as if I was very admiring of him, chatting with him. After chatting like this for 2 days, Jake Poosmade couldn't resist the daily flattery, especially when it came from an attractive young woman. Looking at the chat records, my heart grew colder. When I was dating Jake Poosmade, we also chatted every day, but never so frequently, not to mention after marriage. It was all trivial matters, and he couldn't even bother to speak sweet words to me. The chat records on my secondary account were more than my primary account had in several years. The true colors of this man, I see them clearer than anyone else. Once everything was set, Jake Poosmade started urging me to go for the company interview. If I went, I would definitely give myself away. I thought of a way to decline for a few days. One morning, I saw his message to the secondary account again. "Are you coming for the company interview today? I am waiting for you." I hurriedly responded, "I'm sorry, Mr. Poosmade, I won't be able to make it these few days." As expected, Jake Poosmade was puzzled. I explained on WhatsApp, "My brother got injured in a school fight, so I have to take care of him. Can't go for the interview. I even wanted to meet you, but now there's no chance." Soon, Jake Poosmade sent back a seemingly sincere consolation. "Your brother has had such a big incident, you should go and help. Don't be discouraged. When your brother is better, you can come over, and I'll personally recruit you to the company to be my assistant." "Mr. Poosmade, you're such a good person." Jake Poosmade was utterly flattered by me, and the next day he even asked about my brother's condition on WhatsApp. That day, my supposed business trip with Jake Poosmade also ended, and I returned home from my cousin's, Before I got home, I called Jake Poosemaid telling him I wouldn't be home until 10 o'clock in the evening, and it would be too late, so he should go to sleep first without waiting for me. Jake Poosemaid agreed cheerfully, without any suspicion. During the days I was at my cousin's, the location showed that Jake Poosemaid was always with that woman, and in his eyes, our home might just be an empty shell. I got in the car and gave the driver the address of the mistress's neighborhood. The two of them would surely have their final revelry tonight. I hid at the entrance of the neighborhood, waiting for Jake Poosemaid to come in. As expected, Jake Poosemaid's car entered the neighborhood, and there was a woman sitting in the passenger seat. When I saw what she looked like, I was stunned. It was my best friend from college, Joanne. Although Joanne and I were in the same class in college, she often skipped classes and failed exams, sometimes not coming to school for several days. Because of this, I often contacted her parents, knowing that her family was not well off, and that she couldn't find a job after graduation. She even lived in my house for a while. Later, it was Jake Poosemaid who introduced her to a job, allowing her to stay in his company. I did everything I could for this friend. I had never asked Joanne what kind of work she was doing in Jake Poosemaid's company, but I never thought that these two would end up in bed together. The dog-blooded plot in TV dramas where the best friend hooks up with the husband happened to me. These two betrayed me together. Well done. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. I calculated the time. Joanne had just settled down in Jake Poosemaid's company 7 months ago. It seems that when she was living in my house at that time, these two were already flirting with each other. I felt as if I had swallowed a fly, feeling incredibly disgusted. The anger in my heart could not be extinguished. Staggered a few steps, my legs went soft and couldn't support me, and I fell to the ground. Struggling to stand up, I went straight to the security guard of the neighborhood and asked about Joanne's residence. By the time I got to the apartment building, Jake Poosemaid and Joanne had just parked the car and walked into the building hand in hand, looking like a married couple. I waited until they got into the elevator before I moved. The elevator they got into stopped on the 12th floor. The apartments in this neighborhood were all single units, with dozens of rooms on each floor. I followed them up like this. I wouldn't be able to find them immediately, and it could alert them. After some thought, I decided to leave first and then head to the parking lot to find our car. The audacity of those two was beyond belief. Who knows what they had said or done in the car. As long as I got the dash cam footage, at least I would have some evidence in my hands. Jake Poosemaid never really cared about such small things. The car was broken or lacked parts. I was the one who took it to the 4S shop for repairs, so he probably wouldn't think of this. Half an hour later, I got the backup from the dash cam. When I saw everything that had happened in the car, I felt both disgusted and amused. Jake Poosemaid and Joanne really had no sense of shame. Thankfully, he had always assumed I was clueless, so he didn't guard against me. I saved the video and looked up marriage law with this video. Even if I couldn't make Jake Poosemaid leave our house with nothing, I could at least make him give me all the property I was entitled to, but I wasn't going to let him off easy. Why should a man be able to start over after making a mistake? I was determined to leave Jake Poosemaid with nothing as compensation. As for Joanne, I had treated her well back when we were in school, only for her to destroy my family in the end. Since she didn't cherish our past friendship, she couldn't blame me for being ruthless. At 9 o'clock in the evening, I first posted an Instagram of just getting off the high-speed rail. Had bought the ticket in advance to deal with any unexpected situations. Jake Poosemaid didn't see the Instagram post right away. Half an hour later, he commented, "Honey, you've worked hard. I'm still working overtime. See you later." At 10 o'clock, I returned home. After waiting for 20 minutes, Jake Poosemaid still hadn't come back. Calculated the time and gave him a voice call. "Honey, are you still working overtime this late?" Jake Poosemaid's voice came through, "Don't worry, honey, I'm almost home." After hanging up the call, I switched to my alternate account. This account was well managed by me, and Jake Poosemaid didn't have a hint of suspicion. I sent Jake Poosemaid a WhatsApp message from this account. "Mr. Poosemaid, what are you up to right now?" To highlight a young girl's shyness, I also sent a cute, coquettish emoji. "I haven't chatted with you much all day. I miss you. I saw your Instagram today, and I think your wife is very lucky." I wish I could find a good husband like you. Mr. Poosemaid, can you tell me your home address? I want to see you, and I won't let your wife know. When I sent these messages, I was timing it right to the moment Jake Poosemaid was about to open the door. Hearing the sound of the door lock turning, I quickly put down my phone. Jake Poosemaid would never dare to reply to another woman's messages in front of me. As soon as he walked in the door, he said with a smile, "Darling, you haven't had dinner, right? Are you hungry? Shall we go out to eat?" After all these years, if it wasn't for Jake Poosemaid being so considerate, I wouldn't know I was being deceived. The vivid images of him and Joanne in the car instantly shattered any slight touch of emotion in my heart. I would no longer let Jake Poosemaid make a fool of me. "Okay, let's go out to eat." I grabbed my coat and walked out the door in front of him. This way, at least I wouldn't have to face him in the same room, on the same bed. Otherwise, I was afraid I would throw up after eating some Chinese food outside. I said I had to work from home to deal with the work I had missed while on my trip. When Jake Poosemaid went to the bathroom to take a shower, I took the opportunity to take out my payroll card and hide it in a place he would never find. At this moment, my phone vibrated. I looked and saw that Jake Poosemaid was still responding to the messages from my alternate account while in the bathroom. "Don't worry, you're sure to meet a good man like me. If you really want to meet me, let's go for a coffee in a couple of days." Jake Poosemaid really can't change his spots. Point one, Joanne wasn't enough. It seemed he was hoping to develop a second one. Of course, he wouldn't refuse a woman who presented herself. Men are cheap and that will never change. When I woke up and had breakfast, we went to work together. A glance at the passenger seat made me feel a wave of nausea, almost threw up in front of Jake Poosemaid and quickly moved to the back seat. "Darling, what's wrong with you? You look unwell. Could it be morning sickness?" "No, I was just up late working last night and wanted to nap in the back seat. You just drive." But Jake Poosemaid was persistent. "I think we might really be having a child. I won't go to work today. I'll let my boss know. I will take you to the gynecologist to check if you're pregnant. If you are, I will treat you like a queen." These were the words of a good husband, and if I were still in the dark about him and Joanne, I would be overjoyed and moved, but the thought of almost having a child with such a dirty man made me want to throw up. "I'm really fine. I probably ate something bad on the trip and feel unwell." Jake Poosemaid could only drive towards the office. On the way, I couldn't help but ask him to stop the car, found a nearby trash can and vomited for a while before getting back in the car to go to the office. During lunch break, Jake Poosemaid came to our office. "I bought some medicine for you downstairs, you should take it." He was the one who made me feel sick, and he had the nerve to bring me medicine. Clear how much they must have flirted with each other when they were alone at the same company. My only thought now was to hurry up and get married so I wouldn't have to suffer this torment. In the following days, Jake Poosemaid began non-stop chatting with my alternate account, as intimate as lovers. Seeing that the time was almost right, I called the young girl and told her about the chat content, then agreed to Jake Poosemaid's request to meet. The meeting place was the tea restaurant downstairs from the office. The girl was dressed in the pure and seductive style that Jake Poosemaid loved. As soon as they met, Jake Poosemaid couldn't wait to hold her hand and give her a hug. My cousin and I were hiding outside, speechless at the sight. Not until the girl stood up according to plan, presumably telling Jake Poosemaid she wanted to visit the office, did we follow. At the same time, I had my cousin anonymously contact Mrs. Poosemaid, telling her that her son was getting divorced to marry a new wife. Speaking of Mrs. Poosemaid, she's not an easy one either. When Jake Poosemaid and I were still dating, she insisted that not getting married was a waste of her son's time, pushing me into the grave of marriage at a young age. She didn't ask about the wedding, the betrothal gifts, the car, or the house. In the end, I handled everything, of course spending a lot of my savings. Afterward, Mrs. Poosemaid was not grateful to me at all. Instead, she told everyone that her son was capable and I was the one who had paid in. Thinking of the strange looks from my husband's relatives during the new year, I realized how foolish I had been. After the wedding, Mrs. Poosemaid was constantly causing trouble, often coming to our new house to point fingers and make comments. She often spoke ill of me behind my back to her son. Thinking about it now, who knows what they might have plotted behind my back. Perhaps the idea of me handing over my payroll card was instigated by Mrs. Poosemaid. Just 2 years into our marriage, I couldn't count on both hands the number of eccentricities Mrs. Pussmaid exhibited, but the deepest wound was still inflicted by Jake Pussmaid. Even if Mrs. Pussmaid discovered her son's infidelity, she would never side with me. As a fellow woman, she seemed eager for me to be a dutiful maid at home, a moneymaker outside, never causing any trouble for her family, yet, whenever something good happened, I was invisible in her eyes. Looking back, I believe I was as kind and generous to their family as anyone could be. My regular salary was quite substantial, so regardless of what Mrs. Pussmaid wanted, I would buy it for her immediately, worked tirelessly during holidays at my mother-in-law's, cooking for the whole family. Sometimes, even after working myself to exhaustion, I didn't receive a single word of gratitude. Unexpectedly, upon receiving a message from my cousin, Mrs. Pussmaid immediately called. She didn't recognize my cousin's voice but was overjoyed upon hearing that her son was about to marry a new wife. She asked for our address and announced that she wanted to meet her new daughter-in-law. I felt like all my sincerity over the years was wasted, would wait until her son had nothing left and watch the consequence fall on this family. I should have known better. When I was with Jake Pussmaid, neither my parents nor my cousin thought highly of him. The fact that I had to contribute financially to our wedding indicated that his family neither respected me nor valued propriety, yet, I was so in love with Jake Pussmaid that I insisted on marrying him. Mrs. Pussmaid arrived within 10 minutes and cornered Jake Pussmaid and his new love interest at the office entrance. Seeing his mother at his workplace, Jake Pussmaid was dumbfounded. "Son, why didn't you tell me about such a big event? This is your new wife after the divorce, right?" Mrs. Pussmaid started shouting at the office entrance. Jake Pussmaid quickly refuted. "What are you talking about? Divorce, new wife? Ah, I know everything. That Mary Landon hasn't given birth to a child in 2 years. I never liked this daughter-in-law. You should have divorced her long ago. Look at this young girl, so fresh and lively, you should marry her." Many colleagues couldn't help but gather around to listen to the gossip. Jake Pussmaid was very anxious and couldn't understand why his mother would come to his company. All he wanted was for her to leave. "Mom, it's not like you think. Can you leave now, and I'll explain everything to you later?" At this moment, I had my cousin pose as an employee of Jake Pussmaid's company and told Joanne that Jake Pussmaid was having a fight at the entrance. Joanne couldn't ignore things related to her lover. She immediately left her department and went to the entrance, where she saw Jake Pussmaid arguing with a young girl and his own mother. "When are you two getting married?" This sentence landed directly in Joanne's ears. Although Joanne and Jake Pussmaid were having an affair, Jake Pussmaid often promised that he would marry her after the divorce. Otherwise, why would Joanne follow him so obediently? Hearing this, she was immediately upset, ran up, and grabbed Jake Pussmaid. "Who is this woman, Jake Pussmaid? Explain it to me." Joanne was acting as if she was his official wife, not the third party. "Following our plan," the young girl immediately asked. "Mr. Pussmaid, who is this? She looks much older than me. Does she like you too?" With just one sentence, the young girl revealed the unusual relationship between Jake Pussmaid and herself to Joanne. "You dare call me old?" Joanne couldn't bear it anymore. Oh, one would believe her if she said she was the third wheel. "I am Jake Pussmaid's girlfriend. Who do you think you are? You're just a young girl seducing a man with a girlfriend. Do you have no shame? Get out." "Mr. Pussmaid, is this true?" The young girl's acting was excellent. She was on the verge of tears. What man wouldn't be moved by this? Jake Pussmaid, who was always fond of novelty and tired of the old, was annoyed to see Joanne making a scene. He roared, "Joanne, I have nothing to do with you. I have a wife at home." He remembered me, but Jake Pussmaid didn't finish his sentence, didn't mention that he was married. After all, I had only visited their company once after work hours, so no one there knew that Jake Pussmaid was married. Otherwise, he couldn't have carried on so brazenly with Joanne in the office. Jake Pussmaid resumed the conversation, telling Joanne, "You go back first, don't make a scene here, it's embarrassing." "Embarrassing? Are you saying I'm a joke?" Joanne was particularly persistent. "You brought a woman to the company, are you the joke or am I?" In this situation, Jake Pussmaid was completely flustered, the eyes of many colleagues were on him, and all he wanted was to resolve the situation as quickly as possible. Didn't have time to wonder why his mother had come to the company and was announcing his plans to divorce and remarry. Joanne openly revealed their relationship and demanded an explanation from him. Jake Pussmaid was mortified and naturally wasn't kind to her. "Can't you stop being unreasonable? She just came to the company for an interview." "Interview? Dressed like that for an interview, and she needed you to personally bring her in?" Joanne didn't believe a word Jake Pussmaid said. Furthermore, the young woman in front of her was not only prettier but also younger. She really got involved with Jake Pussmaid. Joanne would stand no chance. She had a perfect plan. Jake Pussmaid was a promising young man. He divorced, she could move directly into our marital home, drive the car we bought after our wedding, and enjoy a life with a house and a car. Now that the young woman was here, Joanne was afraid that all her efforts would be in vain. She was determined to make a scene. After all, she had been coaxing Jake Pussmaid for 7 months and was about to succeed. In front of many colleagues, Joanne suddenly started crying. "Jake Pussmaid, we've been together for such a long time. I've had a crush on you since college. I'm willing to do anything as long as I'm with you. Just wanted you to like me. Who knew that you're divorcing your wife and marrying a young girl? Don't forget, I'm pregnant. What about our child?" Her words were like a bomb dropped into the crowd. Everyone was stunned, especially Jake Pussmaid, who turned pale. My mother-in-law, Mrs. Pussmaid, recovered first and quickly asked, "What's going on? You already have a child?" Joanne never told him about the pregnancy. Jake Pussmaid thought Joanne was lying and quickly said, "Joanne, how can you make up such important things?" "I'm not making things up, Jake Pussmaid. Don't you want to acknowledge it?" Joanne was crying out of desperation. "You forgot about that time in the car. If it weren't for you dragging your feet about divorcing Mary Landon, would I have kept it a secret from you? Now you want to marry another woman. Oh, you want our child to be born illegitimate, to grow up in a single-parent family?" As more and more people started to gather around, Joanne clung onto Jake Pussmaid's arm. "You promised to marry me, gave you everything. You can't abandon me and our child." Jake Pussmaid's face darkened, the expression of humiliation on his face. I felt like I would never forget it in my lifetime. At this moment, as Jake Pussmaid's wife, it seemed like I had to step forward. "Everyone's here, huh?" I suddenly raised my voice, and they all turned to look at me. "Dear, let me explain." Upon seeing me, Jake Pussmaid's face changed drastically and he immediately pushed Joanne away. Everyone around instantly understood that I was the legitimate wife, and their gaze towards me was filled with sympathy. Some even whispered to each other. I didn't want to hear Jake Pussmaid's explanation at all. "What a wonderful day. I didn't even know my husband had a child. You say you can't abandon this one, or that one, so why not just discard me since I'm so easygoing?" I must have looked extremely sarcastic. "It's not like that, Mary, it's all a misunderstanding. Let's go home, I'll explain everything to you." Jake Pussmaid came up to me, trying to pull me away. Misunderstanding? So everything I just heard was false? I didn't want to be entangled with Jake Pussmaid any longer. I casually glanced at the discomposed Mrs. Pussmaid. "Mother, what a coincidence that you're here too. Look at my memory. You want a new daughter-in-law. It's my fault for not telling you earlier." Mrs. Pussmaid's face was a kaleidoscope of colors, but she understood that today, her son had lost face significantly. The position for a new daughter-in-law was not yet available, because I hadn't given up my place as the legitimate wife. Whether she wanted Jake Pussmaid to marry someone else, or desired the grandchild in Joanne's belly, she had to get through me first. Mrs. Pussmaid, with a smile on her face, advanced forward. Had never seen her smile so kindly in front of me in all these years. "Mary, I just wanted to come and see you and Jake, but on a second thought, you've been married into our family for 2 years now, and there's no sign of a baby. Jake is so eager for a child that he was lured by a woman outside. Why don't we let her give birth to this child, and then you can raise the child as your own?" "Mother, your idea sounds perfect. Unfortunately, your family has done enough disgusting things. Whoever wants to deal with it, let them. I'm done." If it weren't for all the people watching, I would have spat on Mrs. Pussmaid and Jake Pussmaid. "I've already filed for divorce, Jake Pussmaid. Wait for your subpoena," I said coldly and left with my cousin. After obtaining evidence of Jake Poosemade's infidelity, I submitted it to the court. Whether legally or morally, there was no way for him to turn things around. After today's scene at the company's entrance, I couldn't believe they would keep such a stain. As for my future, the sky is high and the path is broad. As for Jake Poosemade, he will never be able to turn his life around. Today's story is over. Thank you all for listening.